Hi friends, I'm Rachna and I'm back with a new lesson. Well, in today's lesson we are going to learn the difference between two structures, that is, we have gone and we went. Well, a very common confusion amongst most people. Technically, this is known as the present perfect tense. Okay, and when I say we went, it's known as a simple past. Okay, so before we start, let's just recollect something that I've always told you in all my grammar lessons. There are three forms to a verb. First is the present, second is the past, and the third is the past participle. Okay, so remember this while we go through this lesson. Okay, so if I make a sentence saying, I have watched 3 movies this week. Now say we are on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Okay, so this week is still on. It's the present week. So remember, the present perfect tense is always used when you talk about a present or it links something to the present. Okay, so here I have this week. That means this week is the present. This week is not over. It's Tuesday and this week is on. So I'm going to say I have watched 3 movies this week. Of course, the action of watching 3 movies is over. You have completed the action, but you say I have watched. Now, a lot of people would say I watched 3 movies this week. This would not be correct because when you talk about the present this week, you use a tense that links it to the present time, and that is the present perfect tense. Okay, so if you see the verb watch, watch has 3 forms. Watch is the present, watched is the past, which you will learn later, and watched is also the past participle, the third form. Okay, we call it the verb in the third form, V3, but remember it is always accompanied with have or has. Has for he, she, it. So I have watched, you have watched, he has watched, she has watched, we have watched, they have watched. So when you see have with the verb in the third form, you are using a present perfect tense, and once again you use it when you talk about something in the present or you link something in the present. Okay, so I have watched 3 movies this week. This week is present. Now say example today, this morning, this year, this month. All these are current situations, current time frame. Okay, now if I say I watched 3 movies last week. Now last week is the past, the time frame is over. Okay, so last week is not prevailing right now, it's over, so we say I watched. Now if you see here, I have not used have, I have just used watched. That means here I am using the second form of the verb, that is the past form, to say that I watched 3 movies last week. Now a lot of people get confused and say I have watched 3 movies last week. This is absolutely wrong because last week is the past. You cannot use a present perfect tense to link something in the past. This is always used to denote something in the present, and the past tense is always used to say something is completed, it's finished in the past, the time frame has gone. Okay friends, always remember this. Now the next example, I have completed my graduation. Well, a very common statement when you go for an interview and when you are asked about your qualifications, you always say I have completed my graduation, I have done my diploma, I have completed my masters. Okay, but very rarely we specify when. So the present perfect tense is pretty flexible. You, as long as you do not mention the time when, you are free to use this tense. Now for example, there's a new mall opened near my house. And if I tell my friend, oh, it's a wonderful mall, I have visited that mall, you must go and visit the mall. When I say I have visited, I do not mention when. It could mean even day before yesterday. But you do not specify the time is not specified. Okay. But if you wish to specify the time when you are giving your interview and you want to say you completed your graduation last year, then it's better to use the simple past tense saying, I completed my graduation in 2013. Now, 2013 is the past, right? So please do not say I have completed, because again, this would be wrong. Put it in the simple past tense. The verb is in the past form completed. I completed my graduation in 2013. Likewise, if I want to tell you when I visited the mall, I would say I visited the new mall day before yesterday. Day before yesterday is the past, so I'll use the past form of the verb. I visited the mall day before yesterday. So remember, here we are not specifying the time. Here it is very clearly specified. Okay friends, I hope this is very clear to you. Time is not specified when you use the simple past tense. You are talking about a specific time, especially in the past. My next example, my uncle has gone to New York 5 times. Now, has gone. First, let me tell you, I'm using has gone because my uncle is a third person. If you replace it with a pronoun, he has gone to New York 5 times. Okay. Now, my uncle is alive. He still exists. So when I talk about his life or I talk about the various places he's traveled to, I'm going to tell you he has gone to New York 5 times. But supposing I've lost my uncle, he's passed away, he no longer exists. But I still want to tell you about the places that he visited. I'll say my uncle went to New York 5 times. When I make this statement, it means my uncle no longer exists. Okay, so remember this, when you talk about a person who no longer exists, whatever he has or whatever he did, please put it in the past tense. Do not use the present perfect tense. Okay, my next example, I've lived in London for 7 years. Okay, so tonight I'm socializing and I happen to come across new people and just make some small talk. So they ask me, how long have you been here? So I'll be like, I've lived in London for 7 years. Now this means I am still living in London. Alright, 7 years ago probably I moved to London, and if I say I've been here for 7 years, that means I'm using a present perfect tense because I am still living in London. So even in the present, I still live in London. Okay, but supposing while making small talk, the opposite person says, oh, London is a beautiful place, and I say, I lived there for 7 years. That means I am now in a different country. I've moved to a different country. I no longer live in London, but yes, I lived there for 7 years. So the minute I use the past, the simple past, it means that my action of living in London is complete. I no longer live in London. I'm in a different country right now. But yes, I lived there for 7 years. So this is the simple past. Okay friends, I hope these examples are very clear to you. Trust me, it's very simple. It's not as difficult and confusing as you think it to be. Always remember, the present perfect tense always relates or links to the present time, okay, and the simple past tense is always related to a specific time in the past, or when you talk about a person that existed in the past and no longer exists. Well, now let's take a look at how to make negatives and questions using the present perfect and the simple past. Okay, so I have not seen John today. Now what is I've? I've is nothing but a contraction. Contraction means you combine 2 words. That's I plus have becomes I've. Well, you can also contract have and not to make haven't. So you have I haven't. Either which ways, both are correct. Okay. So I have not seen John today. Today is the present, so I'm using the present perfect tense. Today is still on, not yet finished. So I have not seen John. See, the verb is in the third form. See, saw, seen. Okay. I have not seen John today. Now in the past, if I want to talk about yesterday, and if you ask me, did you see John yesterday? And I'll be like, I didn't see him yesterday. Now, I'm using a supporting verb or an auxiliary verb called did. Okay, I've put it in negative. Again, I've contracted it. That's did not. I didn't see him. So when I use did, which is a supporting verb in the second form, that means the past, do, did, done. Did is the second form. Please remember this rule. The verb always comes in the present form. A lot of people make this mistake and say, I didn't saw John yesterday. Okay. This is absolutely incorrect for the simple reason did is doing the job of being in the negative. So the verb that follows always has to be in the positive, in the present form. Not the positive, the present form. So in a negative, did not see, did not go, did not do, did not finish. Don't say I didn't went to the party. Always say I didn't go to the party. Okay. So when we speak about yesterday in the negative, remember didn't see. Okay. I've never eaten Chinese food. Never. Now, never does not mean that I will never eat in the future. It just means up till now, up to date, till today, I have never eaten. It's weird to say I never ate Chinese food. Okay, you do not put it in the simple past because here you're talking about a time period till today, till the present. Okay, so you always use never. Well, often with the present perfect tense, you will see words like never, ever, hardly, so far, because they always mean up till today, from past till today. So you always use the present perfect because they are linking it till today. Okay, so I have never eaten. Here again, the third form, the contraction. So I have never eaten. Eat, ate, eaten, the past participle. Okay, so far till today, I have never eaten Chinese food. But if I'm talking about yesterday or last night, that's the past. I cannot say I never had pizza last night. No, I didn't. Don't forget the rule. Not had. I didn't had. Absolutely wrong. I didn't have pizza last night. Last night is the past. Time frame is gone. Simple past tense in the negative. Didn't have. Please remember, do not say didn't had. Okay. Now let's take a look at some questions. If I ask you, have you ever watched a horror film? Well, colloquially, that means informally, people always say, you watched a horror film? Well, that's a statement. When I say you have watched a horror film, that's a statement. Remember, the correct structure would be, have you ever watched? It's very simple. All you need to do is, you have watched is a statement. Remove this, that's the supporting verb, and put it before the subject to make a question. That's all you need to do. Okay, but don't say you watched. No, it's have you ever watched a horror film? Now you see, again I'm using ever. That means till date, have you ever watched a horror film? Okay, now let's talk about a past time frame. Did you watch the episode last night? Okay, Friends is my favorite soap. I love the serial. I watched all the seasons. So I asked my friend, did you watch the episode last night? I missed it. So did you watch? Not did you watched. Again, I'm reminding you, put it in the simple past using did. Now the most common error people make while making simple past questions is, you watched the film? No, it's not you watched. Did you watch? Alright. Last night past, so you put it, did you watch? And well, another example, have you read the book? Now, the spelling remains the same. Read in the present, read in the past, read in the past participle. So don't say have you read the book. The minute you know there is have here, please understand this is a present perfect tense asking a question. Have you read the book? Okay, so have you read the book? Have you read the book? Have you read the book Secret? So I'm asking you, have you read? Remember, this is read, not read. Okay. And in the past, did you read the newspaper yesterday? Yesterday is the past. Now you will, for pronunciation's sake, I'm putting the wrong spelling. Read. Okay, so did you read, not did you read. Did you read the newspaper yesterday? Alright friends, well, so this brings us to the end of this lesson. Here it is, the difference between present perfect and simple past. I'm sure your confusion is now all gone. Well, just to understand how much you have understood, I have a test for you. Do take it by going on learnx.in and do let me know your scores, okay? I'll be back soon. Till then, take care and bye.